Need a quick burst of colour to brighten your day? You're in the right place. Welcome back to Moments of May, our joyful reminder that art doesn't have to be serious, perfect, or take all afternoon. In this session, we're jumping into 7 fast, fun, and feel-good watercolour ideas. Perfect for when you've got a little time and a lot of creativity. So grab your paints, get comfy, and let's dive in. Who knows what magic you'll create today? So here we are again. We've done the garden gate, the dandelion, the spring shoes, a buzz of bees, window view, bud to bloom, and a bowl of fruit. And today we're starting off with day 15, feather found. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit here because we're under a lot of time pressure. We are going to be getting on a plane in no time at all. See how dry this is? That's just the way it's dried up. It hasn't been soaked in water or anything. It's just dried up in the lack of humidity here. So what I'm going to suggest you do, the first one on this is, I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to cheat a little, like I said. It's called Feather Found, and I just want to refer you to take a look at, especially if you haven't already, a video called My New Watercolor Obsession, Painting Easy Fun Feathers with Doodles, which is our last video. If you check our channel, you will find it easily, and we'll put a link in the description below, and it'll show you exactly how to paint this feather, which I think actually turned out quite nicely. It's on a sheet of, in case you missed it, this is a Clairefontaine. Where's the front gone? Where's it gone? Ah, there it is. Clairefontaine Carnet de Voyage, or travel journal, or whatever you want to call it. And this is actually quite nice paper. We've got some quite fun. Just to make up for the fact I'm not going to do a painting of a feather. I'm just going to show you some of our Christmas things from last year. I did a lot of sheep. I don't think any of these actually were made into videos, but maybe next year. I was on a bit of a sheep thing, missing my sheep. Yes, holly, and that was nice. We did that one. That was definitely a video. And here we are at the feather. So this was just an ordinary wet in wet, and then I just popped in some gold on top. So take a look at the video that we put up yesterday to see how that was done. Now let me see, what have we got here? Mustn't lose my crib sheet. We have got comfy chair. Okay, so for comfy chair, this is going to be interesting. I have thought I would do a chair with somebody sitting in it, basically. I'm going to put my iPad out of the way there. Going to be using my Kuretake paints, which I use most of the time because they're really the easiest ones. And so this is the 16th it will be. I'm doing this in my paint on sketchbook. This is not really watercolor paper, but Clairefontaine Canson were kind enough to send it to me. So I thought, well, I would like to give it a good try, and it seems to actually work out quite nicely. So anyway, so let's see. Let's start with the legs of the chair. And it doesn't matter if you're not very good at perspective. If you practice, you'll get better. Remember, Jane Austen said so, about piano playing and all of that. So we'll start at the bottom, and we're going to go up the sides here like this. And this one goes up here like this. So I'm just copying a photo of a chair. And as I say, my perspective doesn't have to be perfect. It probably will be, kind of so-so. It won't be perfect. And so the arm of the chair is here. So you can see that that's a kind of 3-dimensional thing, can't you? And then we'll put the back of the chair goes up here. Now, in this chair, we are going to put Can you see what it is yet? I'm concentrating, that's why I'm not talking. I don't think I've got that ear quite right there. Okay, just got interrupted there. So here we are. You can now see that this is a dog sitting on a chair and the tail's coming around here somehow. Not quite sure about that. I'm doing this from kind of memory, thinking about my own dog. I got the idea because I saw a picture of a cow sleeping or sitting on a chair, so I thought, well, why not put my dog there? Because when Lottie, well, she still loves to sit on chairs. When our golden retriever Lottie was young, she used to love to sit on chairs. So let's see what we can do to make some kind of an effort with this golden retriever of ours. I'm not going to try and, oh, that's gold, I don't want to use that. Let's try with, this is kind of, I don't know, she always looks a little bit dirty. Just put some colour in her in a couple of places. I'm not going to do anything terribly. We give her a nice, give her pink or reddish kind of bandana. Something like that. Her little black nose. She used to have a lovely black nose, actually. And then it kind of went a bit pink. And her little eyes. I'm not going to go into too much detail. And then for the chair, let's make the chair turquoise as a kind of nod to Matisse. He seemed to use, I don't know, I get the impression he used a lot of kind of pastel shades, really, I think. And then we'll put some darker legs like this. And then I'll grab a bigger brush and I think we'll just put a little bit of, you have to remember that these are very quick and just an inspiration for you to get your paints out and follow the, the challenge. So there we are. That's a dog on a chair, really loose and quite fun. Cup of tea. There we are. Lottie. Not going to touch anything, just leave it like that. Now the next one is butterfly paws. Well, that's a tricky one, isn't it? I need to paint some butterflies. Butterfly paws. Shall we try and do something reasonably bright? Let's see what we can do. Let's draw some butterflies, okay. They don't have to be too accurate, do they? Butterflies come in all shapes. So we'll just do two butterflies, and let's what? We can't really do wet in wet terribly well on this paper. It's not really meant for it. But let's do some blue. Nice pale blue. I feel a little bit more gentle. My colours don't seem to want to come out terribly brightly today, so we'll just do. Let's make this an all blue butterfly, shall we? All pale blue. So it's a. I think there is a butterfly in England called is it called a small blue? I think that's what's the word? Original, isn't it? And then we'll just put some colour in the points. Get that a bit thicker. Come back to the body in a minute. You could put some doodles on top of that if we wanted to, couldn't we? Maybe this one can be purple. What do you think? We've got lots of full-length videos on butterflies that you can find if you go to the channel and have a search. These ones are just quick. Like I said, it's not. At least I keep going, you know, I can make a commitment that we'll do the 3 videos a week. I make a commitment, and then things kind of get on top of you a little bit, and one thing or another, we're kind of running out of time. And so, yeah, it's got to be done super quick. Got some nice granulation going on there with the ultramarine blue. Something that we could do that I haven't used for ages is, if I can find it, I think it's here. Yeah. Something we could do is we could use the Watercolor Aquarelle watercolor pencil, and we could kind of just paint into the edges a little bit. I suppose you could call this mixed media in a way. But where this paint, where there's wet paint and it touches this pencil, if it's still wet, it goes very black. And if it's already dried, you can paint into it and make it jump into life. So we'll just, there you go, that's where it's wet and it gets much darker, so there's a little bit more interest on that side there. And down here we can put the veins in really lightly because it's nice and dry. And if I want to, I can take my brush and I can go over these areas here where I've gone in and it's already dry, and then I can come back again and make them nice and dark. And they'll just stay in that area like that. So just going to enlarge the body a little bit, fill in that gap. Call that shadow. Okay. This one, same thing. If you want to, just wet it again, right? Okay, so there we are, that's that one. That's butterfly paws. And now we're going to turn over. It's not quite dry yet, but in a second it will be. And we're going to do, it's at number 18, day 18, sunshades. And I thought, well, I don't think I want to do a parasol. I think I'll do some sunglasses. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this work because I've never done sunglasses before. It's amazing, actually, you know, these challenges are things I've never painted. It makes you realise how limited I've been of my painting career and how many things I haven't actually painted because I wasn't really interested in painting them. For example, I've never painted a dog on a chair before, although I have a dog who is often on a chair and I'm interested in her, but I've never painted her on the chair. And I suppose I just never felt the need. Anyway, so I have now. And let me put a piece of tissue paper between those two pages so I can turn over and hopefully we won't smudge. We turn over and we will draw our sunglasses. Seems relatively apt for where we are at the moment because sunglasses are quite important here. And so I'm going to draw sunglasses. And don't worry again about them being correct. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, but we'll do them like this kind of shape. I think I've got a pair a bit like this. I quite like my sunglasses. They're ever so old. They're about 30 years old, I think. And but they're really dark and you really need them here. Okay, so then the back, we can see the, what do you call it, the arms. So I'll just indicate the arms. And then that comes down and sticks out at the bottom there. And then the other arm sticks out at the bottom here and goes up here and then going to go across here, right? And then perhaps we might have a little gold thing there. And I think I don't care about the fact that perspective's not terribly good. Now, my sunglasses aren't this colour, but I'll tell you what, we'll do the background first. I'm going to put a really fun, bright yellow background to indicate the sun. The sun. We won't put it behind the glasses because obviously they're going to be dark, but underneath the bottom, we're going to do that in a sand shade because you could imagine that these sunglasses are lying on the beach. Okay, and somebody's dropped them. I hope they come back to find them because they're probably expensive. They're probably Ralph Lauren or something. Okie dokie. And then I'm going to take some just plain black and we will paint. Actually, I think I might want to tint them a little bit brown, mightn't I? Yeah. So we'll tint them a little bit brown. We'll straighten up those lines later if we want to. We'll just put that over there like that. And then, to make it look like they're transparent, I'm going to lift part of it at the top, like that. And like that. A little bit more. I need to wet it. This is the thing here, everything dries so fast. There we go. That's it, and then we'll go again with the darker colour. Like that. And then thinking. Then we're going to paint the glasses pink. A bit more. And just keep it nice and uneven. We don't want it looking smooth or anything like that. And in this weather here, where it's so dry, and if you live in a very dry climate, you will be onto a definite loser if you try to do a lot of wet in wet work. So unless you can put a humidifier in your house, which of course is possible. I think we might have to get something like that here. Because it just dries so fast. Crazy. And then the arms go through the back, like we said, that goes there, that goes there. And then this one's going up here to the corner. And this one's coming down. Like that. And if this is dry, we should be able to go over that with a bit of that red mixed with a bit of black and brown, and we can just do a bit of shadow underneath. Because you would, wouldn't you? You'd have a lot of shadow underneath your glasses if they were sitting there on the beach, looking sad because you'd lost them. And I'll just grab my gold, because of course, being as they're Ralph Lauren, they would have little gold screws there because they're old-fashioned glasses. And you could, if you wanted to, you could emphasize the shapes using a pencil or a pen, whatever you wanted to do, or you can just let them be. It wouldn't hurt to go around the insides of the lenses a little bit. Now, before you say this, oh, wonky, nobody's ever said that, actually. Nobody's ever said, oh, that's a different way. Well, yes, actually, people have said that's a different way to paint. But it's true, and it is. And I am trying out some different and new things. So, yeah. Why not? Okay, so there we are. Sunglasses. And just in case you forgot, there's my butterflies, and there's Lottie. Okay. I don't know what they'll look like when they're dry. They're still quite wet, so we'll see. We're not going anywhere. And the next one, after the sunshades, is cloud watching. Now, this is going to be really, really quick and easy. This one is. What we're going to do here, I really wish I had brought my, that must be dry by now. Yeah, it must be. I really wish I'd brought my little paper clips with me. I didn't, I forgot them. So here we go. Let's grab some blue. It's all about blue today. And this is going to have to be quick because otherwise the paint will have dried before we've even got it on the paper. So we're going to swoosh on a whole bunch of sky blue. Okay, sky blue, ultramarine, really can't go wrong. And we'll just put that on nice and rich, nice and thick, and we're not worried about coming to corners or anything like that. Just put that on, and then I think I'll add a little bit of the semi-opaque, same colour, ultramarine. Okay, we'll take this across as far as we can go, really, I think. And you can't work this paper too much. You don't want to, you know, what's the word? You do not want to make it pill, that's what it is. Right, so we take a bit of tissue and I'm going to blot out a cloud. And I saw this online somewhere and I thought it was cute, so I thought I would do it. So we've blotted out a heart. How nice is that? That is all I'm going to do. Cloud watching. Is that cute or what? You could put more blue in the background. You could put spots of colour, or you could embellish it with goodness knows what, but it is a really nice start for a card, isn't it? Wouldn't that be lovely to give to the one you love? So there we are, that's that. The next one is Forgotten Corner, and I'm going to have to turn over, and I've done that one so quickly, it's not dry yet, so I'm going to turn you off for a second. Okay, so this one is Forgotten Corner, and there must be, I don't know, thousands of different ways of interpreting this, and I was looking online and couldn't decide, but I wanted something really simple. So when I found an image of a corner, literally, maybe it's inside a house, it's outside a house, I think, the idea is, and standing there in the corner is a pot. Why not? Could be anything. Could put a chair. We've already done a chair. Haven't done any pots, so I don't think that's very good shape. So I'll change that again a little bit like that. Maybe get a little bit of a curve, give it a little bit of shadow, and then we're going to grow some weeds here because it's a forgotten corner, so it's all straggly weedy. And we will put a neck on this pot like this, and then give it a bit of perspective, a bit of a handle, and then we will see if we can do something with flowers coming out of here, which I'm going to try and do all with I don't know, I might do it with acrylic markers, I'm not quite sure. And we could have a few coming down from the top if we wanted to, but it's not entirely necessary. So I've just got the basic shape of the pot, which is the main thing. The rest of it we can do with kind of, I don't know, as we go along. But I'm going to paint the walls in nice colours. I'm going to paint this one in turquoise. And paint them all in different colours, a bit like Matisse would have done, all right? So we do that, and then a bit more. And I don't have my salt, do I? Oh well, I have to manage without. What I'll do is just drop a few droplets of water on there. It's just as good, really. And then we'll have the blue down the bottom here. Then let us go for something a bit more neutral. Well, that is a kind of terracotta. No, that's too dark. Wants to be light because we're going to try and put the flowers over the top of it, don't we? Let me think, what shall I use? Something like this. I don't know what that is. It's just lying around on my palette. It's probably blue mixed with brown. It's often useful. Somebody mentioned the other day I was watching, can't remember who it was, she said, I never clean my palette. And she has a point, because if you clean your palette, then you're going to lose a lot of colours that you've mixed up. But on the other hand, if you're doing videos like this, I don't think it's helpful to people to see you using colours that they won't have and couldn't reproduce, and so on and so forth. So we'll stick with this, and this is where I think the terracotta pot can be painted using burnt sienna, really. Like that. Let's hope that works. Then we could have some red geraniums, couldn't we? We just put them in sort of willy-nilly like that. And then you could wait for them to dry and then put the green in for the leaves. Probably not a bad idea. And then you could draw in some sort of straggly stems down here for your weeds coming out of there. And you could use this to give you some shadow underneath. Just by way of a change, you know, just using different media. Because the thing is with mixed media, what's the point in mixing the media if it doesn't make any sense? You know, there's no point in trying to do soft blended washes with marker pens. The marker pen guardian angel would be having a fit. Like, why are you doing this? I'm not meant to be used for that. Anyway. It's all a matter of taste. So let's put some weeds down here. And just say, you're weedy. And we'll join them up with. Because this is a forgotten corner. See, I've forgotten to weed it. But the geranium is going bonkers. It's just really so happy to be there. let's use some of the acrylic markers, green, because if I put green paint on there, I know what will happen. It will just all run. And I really want to get this done. So we'll just do that and we'll call that done. And then we'll grab some, I don't know, some yellow, because most weeds are yellow, aren't they? The flowers on them, I mean. So we'll just do some yellows. Come back in with our burnt sienna to put a bit more shadow there. And I think it has to be said, we could probably put a bit of shadow behind on the wall. With that more texture. And a bit more on this green one too. There we are, that'll do. It's kind of run away with itself a little bit, but never mind. And you can shape up if you want. You can just add a little bit more shape. Ooh, I don't like that. Sometimes things don't go right. That's it. We'll let that dry. And that will be then called done. We could put, now it's dried off a bit, we could find some dark green and just put a few little dabs of dark green in too. It's not dried much actually. Okay, so that's going to be dried, and then we've got the last one, which is going to be open beaks. Righty-ho, now we are on to the last one of the week's little paintings. And this one's called Open Beaks, and I decided only to do one bird, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use my Tombow Fudenasuke brush pen here, because this pen is fun. I enjoy using it because it does thick and thin lines. So like this, if you press hard, you get a thicker line, and if you press lightly, you get a thinner line. My one is a little bit worn, so it's giving a little bit of a fuzz, but I think it'll do. It'll have to do. I probably have another one lurking somewhere. Oh, here's another one. Maybe this one will be better. This one is this a hard? I can't read anything. That's a hard one, so we won't use that. We'll use the soft one. And I'm going to do something that I haven't done for a while, which is to do a kind of cartoon, literally a cartoon using a minimum amount of strokes. And this bird is going to be done with thick and thin lines, like this, just to make it look really sort of cartoony. And it's not all that easy. I haven't done anything like this for absolutely ages, but it is good fun. I used to love drawing cartoons when I was a kid. I used to copy all the cartoons in the newspaper. You give him a cute little face, a cute little smile, and then a cute little body. Just goes to show, you know, to get the impression of a bird or any other kind of animal, you don't need to do much. And then he wants a wing. If you want more of this kind of stuff, there's loads of it online. Lots of computer-generated cartoons. Should we give him little dinky ducky feet? And so there we are. He's done. And then we're going to colour him in. That's always difficult to know what colours to use, isn't it? But perhaps we'll start with a yellow beak, since it's the open beak, which is the important thing. I hope it's not going to run too much. You could do the colouring in using an acrylic marker pen or something like that if you wanted to. Give him nice little feet. Put a little bit of corn on the ground here for him, shall we? And hard to know what colour to do him, but we'll do him in the sort of, I don't know, should we do him in a kind of funky style with different colours in different places? Maybe we'll make his tail red. Maybe we'll make his tail different colours. So perhaps red and orange and yellow, just for the fun of it. Maybe we can make his wing yellow too. And then keeping up the sort of, I think he looks a bit like a Peking duck, doesn't he? So we give him a blue head. I think sometimes with the cartoony things, you don't need to fill in all the white, do you? And then I'm going to give him a nice bright green back. And maybe purple. Oops, that's black on that. Purple for his chest. I'm using the Kuretake colours, of course. So there we are. Now, when he's dry, you could add embellishments to him if you wanted to. But he's wet at the moment, so we're going to leave him. And I'm going to say bye-bye for now. So here he is, my little Muscovy duck with his big beak. One beak, one duck, one painting, 7 more. So we have the corner, forgotten corner, the cloud watching, the sunshades, the butterflies, the comfy chair, and the feather, which I don't have handy, but which you can see if you go to the video that we did last, which was lots of videos, lots of feathers. So hope you enjoy this week of the challenge. And next week will be the same thing. Next Thursday, we'll be doing the next 7. Yes, starting with a vase on the table. Ah, that's a very Matisse style. I know this is not, but you know what? I think Matisse would have painted like that if he could have done towards the end of his life, don't you think? So I'll say bye-bye for now, everybody. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and to subscribe and turn on notifications, including the bell, so you get told when we put a new video up. And I will see you very soon indeed. Hope you're keeping well. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.